The What's Good podcast.
Hey, ladies and gents, this is your girl Brianna Javon with What's Good podcast, and I want to thank you so much for tuning into another episode and season 3. Thank you so much. As you guys and gals know, I do not have interviews. Instead, I have genuine conversations. So let's get into it with my guest today, Victoria. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. How you doing?
Amazing. Thank you for asking.
Good.
As you guys know, we always start off with icebreakers. And so I'm excited to hear this answer from you. Because I be watching your stories. I'm like, this girl really be cooking.
I'll be cooking.
So what is your favorite dish to make and why?
My favorite. See, that's the thing. Like when I cook, I like to cook new things. Like I like to experiment in the kitchen. So I really don't like cooking the same thing over and over again. But my favorite thing to like experiment with is like breakfast foods and Mexican foods. So those are my two favorite things.
I'm a sucker for Mexican food.
Yes.
I don't know if it's the cheese, 'cause I'm a cheese lover or what. But I love Mexican food. I think
it's the cheese, the vegetables.
Yes. I think I made some lo mein one time. I was like, look at her.
Yeah, it was like it was drunken noodles. It's like one of my favorite Asian dishes. And I used to drive all the way out to Carrollton to get it. But I was like, I'm going to make this at home because I'm not driving out there. And it turned out pretty good. And I made some egg rolls and some dumplings, I think, that day too.
I'm not mad. My face like it really did drop. I am not mad at you. All right, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and get into our genuine conversation. And I've been starting off this season with who is the guest. So who is Victoria?
So Victoria, I'm a goofy. I call myself the pink Amazon, and really what that signifies to me is just the dualities within myself is both strength and also softness. So, and I also really identify with helping other people, find their authentic self and be comfortable with showcasing that to the world. So that's me personally. Professionally, I am the owner of For the Culture Studio, which is a small event space and what I like to call cultural mecca right outside of Deep Ellum. And I teach 9th graders during the day. So a lot going on.
Yes. How are you balancing all of
that? To be honest, my schooling is easy. It's real easy because I teach an elective course. I teach college prep for a collegiate academy. So it's really not as hard as other people, and they're like teaching 4th graders how to do math and stuff. So mine is just really about connecting with the students and then teaching them how to get their life together, which I love. So it's not too bad during the day. And then at night, I kind of just transition into For the Culture and doing what I have to do for that. So
yes. What does taking a break look like for you? Because I'm sure you're busy, like you mentioned. During the day, you're a teacher. At night, you're transitioning to, being a host for the events.
Breaks for me is like eating good food. Like I like to go out and like find new restaurants to go to. So if I have some downtime, I'm definitely going to eat or I'm going to cook something. And when I had the time, the money, then I like to go on vacations and do those same things. Just eat everything in sight. So that's pretty much what I do, and I just relax at home. I try not to go out too much.
And with the pandemic and having an event center, how has that, as far as, your experience with still pushing through and making things happen?
Man, it was at first, like it started off rough. I was like, what is going on? No, it started off, I was like happy to have a break. And then after so long, it was like, okay, now this is enough. Like when we going back, like I need my money. Yeah. And then after that, it was just like, okay, this is how it's going to be. So what am I going to do? And really, I just had to pivot. And that's part of the reason why I have the new space that is more intimate, because, at the last studio that I had, it was a larger space. really dedicated to larger events. So I wanted to have a place now that is more catered to people who are doing private events or who just need a space to record. And I feel like that is the avenue and the new wave for the culture in order for us to, keep afloat, really. So I had to pivot quite a bit. But honestly, I like to be in at home and kind of having some time to relax because, like I said, I'm usually every day I'm working. I usually don't get an off day. So it was good to have that.
That's good. And so what inspired, because I went to the old space, I love the new space. What
Thank you.
inspired you to create this type of atmosphere? Because every time I go there, even at the bigger space, it felt so homey. It felt like, oh snap, this is a safe place. I love you for one.
Thank you.
Just
Oh, thank you, girl.
and it flows through for the culture. So how was that
Yeah.
inspired?
Well, it like goes way back to when I was younger, but really when I started to get the idea of an event space and the feelings that I wanted around it began when I had my own event production company, Live 25, and I was always renting out different spaces, and I did not like the vibes that I would get from some of the people who work there or the owners or just in general. So I was like, I can do this myself and I can do it better than you. So let me just create what it is that I want, and hopefully people who, identify with what I like, what I feel will, love it as well. So it was just came from a need that I had myself.
That's
Mm-hmm.
good. And was it last year or the year before last? You were nominated for the Cosign Award. And I was
Yeah.
like, I can see why, because you are just so amazing, right? So how did it
Thank
feel
you.
when you got that announcement that you were nominated?
I felt so good just to know like the people nominated me and that they see my vision, they support. Like the support from Dallas is crazy. Like sometimes I can't believe it. I'm like, this is nuts. Y'all are freaking nuts. I can't believe like how much support I get. Like everybody is so nice.
Yeah.
So it just felt really good to be nominated and recognized for just doing what I love to do and just people just supporting all over Dallas. Like I love y'all.
No, I definitely feel that the community in Dallas, period, is amazing.
Yes.
Supportive, encouraging, motivating. I
Hmm.
and
My
so
cousin, like, she comes and she like works some of the events for me. And recently after the grand opening, she was like, how do you know so many amazing people, like so many cool people? She's like, everybody that I've met have been so nice and so warm. Like, I want to be friends with them. Like, how do you meet these people? And I'm like, man, I don't know. These people, it's just the vibes. I don't know. Y'all are so
real.
dope, though.
For real, for real. And so, as you know, this season is about the dating life of entrepreneurs. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Did you know
I
this?
did know that.
Okay. So I wanted to bring people on because I know I be going through the struggle. So I want to know, how are y'all making it through? You got two businesses. You got For the Culture and you're working full time as a teacher. And so are
Mhm.
you currently dating right
Girl, I don't even know what dating means, honestly.
I had this conversation.
I don't
It's like it's the difference between courtship and dating. I was like, well, let's talk about it.
Yeah, so usually I don't date. It's a really uncomfortable experience for me,
Mhm.
and I don't know. I usually just like take my time and just be to myself,
Yeah.
or I just hang out with my friends. But like the older I get, I'm like, okay, I really have to like get out and mingle with people more. But I'm so like specific on what I want that I just most of the time I'll be like, okay, you ain't even what I want at all, so I'm just gonna
I'm gonna go ahead and bounce
just
now.
gonna slide, I'm just gonna slide this way. But no, right now I'm not necessarily dating anybody, so I'm looking for me somebody who can like go with my flow because I'm always busy. So
Mhm.
somebody who understands that, because a lot of men don't. They're like, oh well, you always busy and
That's
you
true.
ain't got time for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
okay, like, what do you
No,
want me
that's
to
how
do?
you feel.
So,
That counts now.
right. So I think like what's gonna work for me is just finding somebody who's just as busy as I am,
Mhm.
who or understands, the grind of it all. So
What does it matter to you if it's going to be an entrepreneur or a 9 to 5 or a mix like you are?
you know what? When B Simone had came out with that whole
Mhm,
thing, like
mhm.
I was like, ugh, the way she worded it was just a little off for me.
Yeah.
But like I kind of understand what she means.
Mhm,
But no, it doesn't matter to me. Like it doesn't have to be an entrepreneur, but I do feel like an entrepreneur or someone who is really ambitious or driven will
mhm,
understand more and have more empathy for me.
mhm.
But they don't have to necessarily, oh my goodness, they don't have to be a entrepreneur for me. But typically, like the last couple people who I've dated have been entrepreneurs. So I
Mhm.
guess
I'm
it's just the
sure,
circles.
like, through your, as far as community, you probably come across a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yes, a lot. Pretty much everybody.
Right.
And it's not on purpose. It's just, the people in my circle.
Right. Okay. And so now it's going to be the storytelling portion as far as like your highs and lows. So, what
Okay.
would be a high where you're like, okay, Victoria, you did that. Let me pat myself on the back?
Um, just the grand opening of the last location,
Hmm.
like, cause I was surprised. You came to the grand opening party at the
Not
last
the
studio?
first one, but the second one, yeah, I did. But not the
Oh, okay. Girl, the grand opening party at the first one, it was just like an eye opener. It was so many people there, like everybody was dancing, and I
Mhm,
was like, these people really came out like to support me. They don't know what it was about to be or anything, but they came out to support me. Everybody had a great time,
mhm,
and I felt like that made everything that I went through, like from finding the location to all the money I had to invest into it,
mhm,
all of it just made everything make sense and feel right. Like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. In that moment, I was just like, damn, like this is me. This is happening right now. It's
yeah.
crazy. So that was like the highest point for me. Is just knowing that okay, I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
And how does that feel when you're that feeling of being fulfilled?
Man, it's amazing. Like I can't even explain
Mhm,
that the joy that comes from like living in my purpose, because in the past I had no clue what I wanted to do or how to make it come to light,
mhm,
but I was just taking it day by day and like, shoot, if this worked, it worked. And a lot of stuff I failed at, but now like living in it day to day, like I just wake up happy. Even on my bad days, I'm like, you know what, this day will pass too and I'll get to something better. Or even when I fail at something, I'm like, I'll be upset for a couple days,
mhm,
but I know I got to snap out of it because something better is going to happen for me. I already know it is. Like, just because when I was at my lowest point, stuff was still happening for me to push me closer towards what's supposed to happen
mhm.
or what I'm supposed to fulfill. So I don't know. It's a divine feeling. I can't even explain it.
That's beautiful.
It's so divine.
That's beautiful. Okay, so what is a low that you went through that question if it was either for the culture or if you should still be a teacher or whatever the case may be? And then how did you push through to be where you are today?
I would say even like during this pandemic and with the previous studio that I was at, and for several months, I was of course closed down and not getting any bookings, but I still had rent to pay.
Mm-hmm.
I still had, I didn't know that I could turn the Wi-Fi off or like pause the Wi-Fi and stuff like that because I was in a contract, but I found that out later. So it's like money is just literally bleeding out of my pockets. And I was just like, I can't do this. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be able to do this for. Like, I'm just gonna have to close for the culture
Mm-hmm.
and, just find something else to do because eventually my money is going to run out.
Yeah.
And I was just low. And I literally in my head had quit. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna tell these people that for the culture is done. I don't know, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I was literally in my mind just really preparing for that. And I had conversations like with my sister, and she's like, you don't have to be for the culture. You are more than just for the culture studio. And I was like, damn, I am. Like, there is more to me. And so I started thinking about other things, but I was like, nah, shoot. For the culture, I am for the culture. We finna find a way to make for the culture studio work.
We're going to make this happen.
Like, yeah, that sounds cute and all, but so I snapped out of it.
Mm-hmm.
She, boosted my confidence, and I just had to think about a way to make it work. So I was able to actually talk to my my building owner, and like work out things with him,
Mm-hmm.
and just make him understand what I was going through, and he did. And yeah, it was many days where I was like, man, if this ain't gonna work for me, then what is?
Yeah.
Like, if I'm not doing for the coaches, then what else am I gonna do? I don't know.
Right.
So that was my lowest point, and I was just like down in the dumps. Just felt like a total failure, even though it wasn't my fault,
Yeah.
So
what was that spark? Because you came back like bigger, coming from what you just mentioned, that type of dark place. And then not only did you open for the culture, like the doors, but you did a whole reopening grand finale. Like, we're back with more. So what was that spark? Like, what did that look like for that transition?
It was just me being like literally at rock bottom and just ready to quit. To, if I don't do this, then what else? Like, I'm still gonna be here. I'm still gonna be living. So what are you gonna do? What are you living for?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just had to like really talk with myself, and like really put my priorities in order and see what it is that I truly cared about in life. And then also, I did this challenge with myself to where I was reading 2 books per week, and I like to read self-help books and books about spirituality and like just levels of consciousness and all that. So when I'm reading those books, it just kind of takes me away from the world and all the expectations that the world has for you, and just puts me back into my place and what do I care about and what's good for me. So after doing that for a month, I read about 8 or 9 books. And that's when I was like, all right, it's go time. It's do or die. And like, once I'm set on something, I gotta do it or I'm not gonna do it. I ain't no in between for me. It's like, I'm gonna do this right or I'm not gonna do it at all. And I'm just driven by that.
And you made it happen. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And
Thank
so I know
you.
you are so welcome. You have artwork in there. I mean, the green, just everything. What inspired you as far as like the ambiance?
Really just art in general. I really like being around art. So I knew for sure that I wanted to have like a gallery style room where it would just be art focused. And then as far as the greenery wall, I want people to be able to utilize that to capture their own memories and, for different events or just whenever, for people to use the greenery wall for that. And then the main room, of course, I have the stage in there, and then we have a kitchen now. And I want people to be able to create whatever it is that they do. I want them to have a space to create it. We're adding the podcasting room for people who, maybe they want to start a podcast and don't have the materials or, the equipment to do so. And then we're going to add some photography equipment in there. But I literally just want a space that has all the tools and equipment for us to do whatever it is that we're passionate about and make it easier and more attainable for people. So I don't want there to be any barriers for us to create the culture at all. So if I can provide anything, I want to have that for the culture studio for people to rent out.
I love it. I'm excited. That was really, really good. Okay, so when it comes to you finding a space, and this is for people who want to own event centers and things of that nature, right? Event spaces, and you come across an owner, what do you look for specifically when you look for a space? And then when you're looking to actually sign a contract with that specific owner?
So I looked at probably 30 or 40 properties. The main thing is to find a really good realtor. So once you find a realtor who understands your vision and what it is you're trying to do, it's going to make things much easier for you, because they'll send you the locations that will really go with what you need. So that's the first step, is just finding a good realtor. And then after that, the realtor really talks to the building owner. Let me make sure I'm saying this. Yeah, I never talked to the building owner over the phone or in person until right before we was about to sign the contract. So that could be a little risky. I would suggest to see if you can set up a meeting with the building owner in advance. But I did get lucky. The building owner that I have is like super cool, super understanding, and he kind of started from the trenches too. So he's all about startup businesses and Black owned businesses, and he wants to see us win. So when I sent over a pitch, I had to send over a pitch for the studio. So telling him what it would be, the type of events we would do, the type of people who would come through, the type of traffic and all that. I had to send that over to him, and he responded right away. He was like, this is exactly what I want on this block. Like, I want all of that. He was like, I couldn't, think of a better person or a better business to put into this to put into my building. So, just let me know what you need to do. And he had me send over like my financials. I had to send a screenshot of my bank information, like how much money I had in the bank. And then I had to send a screenshot of my credit. So they don't run a credit check. You just got to send a screenshot of it. So it was much easier than I thought it would be. And I don't know if that was just, with my building owner or if that's just how it is, but it was a really easy process. For me deciding on the building to getting the keys, it's probably took 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Oh, snap. So it was like moving really fast.
Yeah, it moved really fast. It took me 3 months to decide that I wanted the building, even though it was the second property that I looked at. I would want to see everything. But after I decided on it, it was pretty quick to get my keys. Now, after I got my keys is when it got hard. I thought it was going to continue to be easy and that it would be almost like, you get your apartment, you turn your lights on, your water, all that is easy. You can do that in a day. With the commercial property, girl, it took me almost 2 weeks to get lights, water, and electricity in the building. So yeah, half a month I just had keys and couldn't do nothing in there because there's so much, permits and paperwork that you got to give to the people downtown. And I was searching online, and there's really not a step-by-step process for you to take. So I was just kind of going off the little bits that I could find on Google, and then I'll go downtown to the office, and they're like, yeah, girl, you missing this, and that, and going back after waiting 3 hours in the lobby.
Oh, that's a headache.
Girl, especially like when I have to be at school, so I done took off the day to go down there because, I got to get there before 5, and then I get there, wait 3 hours, and they're like, no, you don't have everything you need. So
it's like financial. Ooh, Lord.
Exactly, girl. It was so stressful. It was so stressful, but I would say that part was hard, but before then it was pretty easy.
Oh, that's so good. Well, with that being stated, what is one free advice either that's been given to you or something that you can give to someone else that's listening that maybe wants to start a business? They want to stay, either a teacher or whatever the case they may be doing 9 to 5, but still want to start, something because it fulfills them. Or an event planner that just needs a little bit of help because, like you mentioned, you can't find everything in Google. So through your experience, what is some free advice that you can give somebody that's listening to this episode?
Definitely, if you're balancing your full-time job with business ownership, it's going to be some days where you're going to have to put your business over that 9 to 5. I know that's the one that's giving you the steady paycheck and all of that, but honestly, I just told the school last week, like, y'all, this is my side hustle. Y'all, is my side hustle. So my business comes first. I'm sorry. I am so sorry to say this to you right now, but my business comes first every single time. And I was like, so you're just telling me that you don't care about the kids and the parents? Not necessarily.
Right.
What I'm telling you is that I care about myself and my business, and that's up here. So if you're not comfortable with kind of letting your job know that, they come second, then you might need to find a different, full-time job, or maybe find a way to stay up later and make it work that way. But Honestly, if I have an hour break from work, I'm dipping. I'm going up to the studio and doing a tour, and I'll be back. I might be 5 minutes late. I'll be okay.
Right.
But every every single time, I'm putting my business first, because I feel like if I put more time and energy into my business, I'm going to be able to double, triple, quadruple my salary that they give me.
Come
But
on.
no matter how much work I put into working for them, there's always a cap. There's always a maximum of how much I'll get a raise. Really, as a teacher, the raises they give us ain't worth nothing. I can make that in an hour
Yeah.
for the coach's studio. So
And it's so
honestly,
sad because teachers do so much. So it's sad
mhm.
because my sister-in-law, she's a teacher, and she tell me all the time about stuff. I'm like, ooh, Lord.
Yeah, they have really high expectations, and you don't get compensated for it
Mm-hmm.
at all. My principal, he told me one time, he was like, it just seems like you're not passionate enough about it. Like, you're not willing to stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning to get stuff done for the kids. I'm not. Well, I'm not passionate enough to do that. He's like, my wife stays up to 4 o'clock in the morning grading papers. Well, sorry for you as a husband, but I
Right.
am not 4 o'clock grading no papers. I'm not gonna do it.
Crazy.
I'm gonna be done at 5 o'clock because I got something else to do. So I'm
I
not
got
gonna
bigger and
do
better
it.
things.
Right. It takes to do. After 5, we're done. I'm not
Yeah.
coming to Saturday school. So yeah, you gotta be willing to not be the best at your day job in order to be exceptional at your business. So that's for our business owners. And then for event planners and people like that, advice for them. Um, really just always, whatever moves you make and whatever it is that you're creating, always keep the entire experience in mind. So when I'm planning an event, I put myself in the shoes of the guest. From the moment they walk in the door to the moment that they leave, I kind of close my eyes and visualize how I want them to feel, what I want them to see, where I want them to stop and take pictures, what I want them to eat, drink, all of that. And just always put yourself in the shoes of your guest and just visualize it from start to finish. And I'm pretty sure if you've been to a great event, then you know how to create a great event. Just piece all those little things that you've loved from other people's event and put them together and create something bomb. So,
That's
yeah.
good. Thank you. That was really good advice. All right. So, what's upcoming for Victoria? What is next? And how can people reach out to you to book for the culture and things of that nature?
So what's next for me? I'm trying to get out of my box as just me, who I am,
Hmm.
uh, be more vocal and more, I don't know, just branding myself as the Pink Amazon. So I'm gonna start actually posting on my Instagram. I usually post like once a month or something on
Hmm.
my actual page, and so I'm gonna start posting on my page. And I thought about doing more vlogs and stuff, maybe just like my day-to-day life, and just let people in on my lifestyle and how I balance everything, and just staying in good spirits and stuff.
Hmm.
And for the Coach's Studio, like I said, we have the podcast studio that's opening up in November, as well as the photography room that'll be done probably by mid-November.
Hmm.
And we are open. We accepting intimate events right now, and I have 20% off discount for
Oh,
you guys. If you want to book before November 1st, it'll be 20% off. So that's a pretty good discount.
yes, it is.
Your- my price is already cheap in my opinion.
Mhm.
So 20% off of that for your intimate events. And just a lot. I want to do more art, music, and poetry events at the studio. I
Yeah.
want to kind of away from birthday parties,
Hmm.
turn up events, and just really focus on cultural events like that. So yeah.
Because I think at the old when you had sipping paints, you had
Hmm.
a lot of creative things. So I know you're gonna make it happen.
So You heard it here on 11/11. We have an experience, 11/11 experience that's coming up, and it's going to be an intimate event that it's going to be nice. So that's coming up 11/11 at For the Culture Studio. We'll have a 4-course meal, drink, live entertainment, and it's literally about to be a whole magical experience for 11/11. So that's coming up. Y'all heard it here first. I ain't even told nobody.
Okay, come on, exclusive. Yes. Exciting. Okay, so as y'all know, we always end it with a motivational moment. It could be a Bible verse, sprinkle of Jesus, some type of quote that I saw. I was like, oh, this is cute. I should bring it on to the podcast. So this one is actually yours.
What?
It is. It is. I was like, okay, Victoria, this was cute. It says, I just want to love you and be who I am.
Yeah. I just
I
want to
love that. I love that. So when I read it, I was like, you know what? I know I can be very goofy. I know I'm, for one, very dramatic. As you can see, I always use my hands. So I can be a little extra, but it's like I know somebody out there that's going to love me
That's how we
with
froze.
everything that I got going on. All right, Victoria. So when you created that quote, what inspired you, and what was your thoughts during the time?
So basically, I thought of that quote when I was thinking about just who I'm around all the time, and I'm usually around the same 2 or 3 people all the time, and it's those people who make me comfortable just being myself. And like, I can be as goofy as I want to be. I can be as quiet as I want to be. If it's one of those days where I don't feel like talking, they allow me to just be quiet, and they allow me to like literally be nurturing. I like to cook for people. I really don't like to cook for myself. So if I'm not cooking for myself, I mean, if I am cooking, I'm cooking for somebody. So yeah, I like people that I can nurture and love on. So I hang with Cora almost every single day, literally every single day, and we just go out to eat together, or I can cook for her, or we just sit and chat about whatever comes to our minds. And I just like that I'm just comfortable. My spirit is just comfortable with her. So I want more people in my life that make me feel that way. And if you can't make me feel that way, I feel like I shouldn't have to force being around you at all. So whether that's a friendship or a relationship or even family members, I don't want to force nothing no more. Like, either we vibe or we don't. So let me love you and be goofy, or you can hit the dog. So
Bye.
that's that. Right. That is that on that.
Yes. Well, this is it, Victoria. I thank you so much.
You
I
be.
enjoyed picking your head today because I always wondered, I'm like, this girl done created this by herself. I need to know more. So it was like no further research or anything. I was like, Victoria is on my list this season. So thank you
Yeah,
so much.
thank you so much. Thank you,
Do you have
girl.
any last words before we end today's episode?
No, I just want to thank Dallas again, y'all, for being so awesome, so supportive, and for helping helping me create the culture. So, shout out to y'all. That's
Hey.
it.
All right, y'all. Well, we thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of What's Good Podcast. If you're listening to this morning, noon, evening, or night, thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.